Arr, matey! Welcome to Learn to Play Games. My name is Lance, and today I look at a brand new game that just funded on Kickstarter called Pirate's Mark. This is a new one by Puzzol Creative. It is a 2 to 10 player game that takes roughly 20 to 40 minutes to play, and is a competitive game of betting, bluffing, and backstabbing. In the game itself, players are going to be playing pirates, trying to bet and determine how many cards that they can draw from the pile without drawing the pirate's mark. The last player standing that doesn't have a pirate's mark at the end of the game will be the winner of the game. So in this video, I'm going to go through the main features of the game and then show you a sample turn to roughly show you how the game plays and help you decide on whether or not this is one you want to pick up. As always, if you find these videos helpful, if you like what I do, please consider that like button, subscribe to my channel. It's one of the easiest ways you can support channels like mine so we can continue to grow and be able to produce this content. If you want to stay updated in all my videos, also considering that bell so you get notifications anytime I release new videos. So let's head to the table and we'll see what this one's all about. First, let's take a look at the cards that are going to be included in the game, and there are going to be 4 different types of cards. This first type are going to make up the majority of the deck, and these are simply just basic cards that are going to have no effects in the game, such as rum and pieces of 8, jewels, cannons, treasures, oranges, and even swords, and a number of other items that you'll find in the deck. The next type of cards you're going to have are the luck cards, and these will have the lucky symbol up in the top corner. Some of the cards are also going to have the duel symbol, which means you can still use those during the duel step of the game. Each of these cards is going to have text at the bottom of it that you'll carry out. Some of them you'll have to carry out right away, and other ones will allow you to hold on to it and play it at a later point to gain the benefits of that card. And there's going to be all kinds of different effects with this, such as releasing the Kraken, where your turn is over and every unmarked player must pull a card, or the Crow's Nest, which will allow you to peek under cards, Tortuga, and all kinds of other cards are going to have all kinds of effects that you'll be able to use throughout your turns. Unlike the luck cards, the curse cards are cards you do not want to pull throughout the game. These will have the skull and crossbones in the top corner, and again, some of them will also have the duel symbol, which will mean that they are also in effect during the duel stage of the game. And these will vary as well. Each one of these will have a name and an effect, and unlike, again, the lucky cards, these will not be effects you will want, such as swapping the poop deck, where you'll have to draw an additional card, or the whirlpool will have you draw the 4 cards that are touching it, or scurvy, where you will have to draw an orange, otherwise you are dead if you draw a pirate's mark, and all other kinds of effects. And the final card, the bane of all pirates, is the pirate's mark. Anybody that draws this card is out of the game unless they can get rid of it. And the last player that does not have a pirate's mark at the end of the game will be the winner. So you want to do your best not to draw these dreaded cards. So now that you know how the different cards work, let's take a look at the game itself and show you roughly how this plays. So first off, you're going to choose a starting player, however you want to do that. You can have it be the youngest player, oldest player, draw a card, or however you want to do it. From there, then it's going to move around the table in a clockwise manner, with each player placing a bet on how many cards that they can pull from the face down cards without pulling a pirate's mark. And each player must increase their bet from the previous player. From there, then the other players, except for the player that is next in line to make a bet, can call that player's bluff and say basically that they cannot do it. And then at that point, then that player must draw that number of cards from the face down cards, hopefully not drawing a pirate's mark. So let's take a look at an example of this. So I'm going to go ahead and start off, and I'm going to go ahead and say 5 cards that I can pull. From there, it'll go to the next player in clockwise order, and that player is going to say 7. Then the player in the end there will say 8. This player is going to go 10. I will go 12, and at that point, then the player across from me calls my bluff. So at this point, then I have to draw 12 cards from the face down cards, and I can do this in any manner that I want to. So let's go ahead and take a look at this. I'm going to go ahead and draw this one here. So I have the Crow's Nest. I can play this card to peek under 1 card. So this could be handy, and I can hold on to this. So that's my first. Let's do this one here. I have a pistol, so nothing there. Walk the plank, so this is a curse. You must pull every card in the same row north of this card. So I have to pull the rest of these cards going up. So I got scurvy. So you've got scurvy. Pull 1 pirate's mark and you're dead. You can break this curse with 1 orange card, so not good. And mutiny. Play this card to force a player to pull 1 additional card. Then I have the Chalices of Cortez. a treasure, and another treasure. So with that, that'll conclude that particular curse. So that is only 3 cards at this point that I've pulled, so I have a little bit of work to do ahead of me then. I have Tortuga, so this one, I can play this card to enjoy some rum and avoid betting for a round. So there's 4, a hook for 5, treasure for 6, whirlpool. I have to draw the 4 cards touching this card. So I have treasure, pieces of 8, treasure, and treasure. Lots of treasure. Okay. So that makes it 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. So I'm up to 7 cards. I need 5 more. So let's do this one here, pieces of 8. Go over here for some rubies. Winds of Fate. The player that called your bluff chooses the rest of the cards you pull this turn. So we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. 1, 2, 3, and that was all those north cards. 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. So I need 1 more card that he has to pull for me. So he's going to choose this one, and it is another Winds of Fate. So then that player would be able to do it again, but he can't. So at this point, since I did not draw a Pirate's Mark, then the player that called my bluff must draw a card as a penalty. Any of the cards any of the curse cards or luck cards that I have that I can play at a later point or that affect me for any length of time, I'll keep in my area. Any other cards that I have will be discarded off to the side in a discard pile. So then that player must draw, so that player is going to choose this card here. And it is a Pirate's Mark, so man, that was a horrible, horrible pull for that player. But don't fear, there are ways of getting rid of this. So that player will keep that card in front of him. Now at that point, when you play or pull the Pirate's Mark, you are out of the game where you can't bet. But you can still call a player's bluff. And if you are able to call a player's bluff successfully, meaning that that player draws a Pirate's Mark, then you are going to be able to place your Pirate's Mark back in the sea with all the other players closing their eyes until you're able to do that. And then you're back in the game where you can bet. Now, unfortunately, if you call a player's bluff and that player is successful in not pulling a Pirate's Mark, then you are dead and out of the rest of the game completely. So be careful on when you call a player's bluff. Now, this is going to continue moving around the board where the players are going to continue drawing cards until one of 2 conditions is met. Either the face down cards are reduced down to 10 cards or less, or there's only 2 players remaining in the game. At that point, then their players are going to enter into a duel, and every game is going to end in a duel. So then let's go ahead and take a look at how that works. Okay, so now we are down to a duel where our players up top and to the side have their Pirate's Mark, so they're out right now. So it's down to just me and the other players. So at this point, then we would enter into a duel. During a duel, before the duel starts, all players are going to discard any cards that they have remaining in their hands. And then the players that are still in the game are going to bounce back and forth with each player drawing a card one at a time. So during my turn, I would draw a card and then it would move over to my other player to draw a card. Now, if you draw any curse cards or luck cards that have the duel symbol in them, at that point, then you can use those or hold on to those and use at a later point during the duel. The one other thing I want to point out is that the players that are still out with a Pirate's Mark, as long as a duel is going on and it is above 10 cards, then those players can choose to call the Kiss of Death. At that point, then once that player calls to Kiss of Death, then for the next 3 draws, then if that one of those players draws the Pirate's Mark, then that player is back into the game and will continue on with the duel. Now, once the cards fall below 10 cards, then there is no more where the players can call to Kiss of Death, and those players are simply out for the rest of the game. So let's take a look at one example of this. So again, it's back to me and the other player. So I'm going to go ahead and go first. So I will draw this card. It's a treasure. So simply be discarded. Then it'll move to the other player to go. That player is going to draw this card here. So he has Swab the Poop Deck. He's going to have to draw one additional card. So he'll take this card down here. It's Jewels. So then it's going to go back to me. At this point, this player over here is going to call Kiss of Death. So for the next 3 draws, if one of us draws a Pirate's Mark card, then he is back in. So I'm going to go ahead and I will draw this card here. And it's a treasure, so I'm okay. Back over to my player, the other player over there. He's going to draw this one up here. And it's a Crow's Nest, so he can peek under 1 card. So he's going to hold on to that for now. And then it's back to me. So this is the final draw. So if I don't draw a Pirate's Mark here, then that player has been eliminated. So it is a Pirate's Mark, so I am out, and that player is back in. So at that point, then that player would place this back out, mixing these cards back up, and then those 2 players would continue. And we have 2, 4, 6, 8, 10 cards. So at this point, both me and the other player are out of the game for the rest of the game, and it'll be down to these 2 players. And whoever is the last player standing without a Pirate's Mark will be the winner of that game. Well, I hope you found this video helpful. If you have any questions or comments, leave those in the comments section below and I'll do my best to answer them. I'll also have a link in the description to the company's website, so if you're interested in picking this game up, you can definitely do that. As always, thank you so much for taking the time to watch my videos and leave me feedback on them. I do really appreciate it and take into account everything you say to make the best possible videos. Until next time, I'll see you later.